I am so honored to have Giselle here with me. My friend Carolina Willes told me about her, and she was like, she has an amazing story. And when I heard it, I'm like, oh, yes, she does. So I wanted to highlight you, and I am so grateful for you being here with us tonight, Giselle.
Oh, thank you. It is my absolute pleasure being here with you guys. And thank you so much for inviting me to chat tonight. It's important that we are working in community and getting our stories out there. I think it's great.
Yes, it is. And as a small business owner, it is very important that we support each other, and especially Latinas and women in business. I'm always a big supporter of other Latinas. So to get started, I just want to introduce you to everyone.
Sure.
So welcome everyone to Paint to Inspire Women Making Their Mark. This is episode 8. I'm Laura Hoyos, your host and founder of Paint to Smile. We are an entertainment company, and we do different events with face painting, live airbrushing, balloons, caricatures. We're a team of very talented artists that love to go out there and make people smile. Today, I have Giselle Gastell. Giselle is a powerhouse realtor with Coldwell Banker, a proud Cuban-American, Columbia University graduate, yes, a former professional performer who brings creativity and bold negotiation to every deal. She's bold, I tell you. She's been recognized in the NAHREP Top 250, is a Circle of Excellence honoree, and is serving as the 2025 president of NAHREP North Jersey. Yes, girl. Most importantly, she's on a mission to build wealth, break barriers, and empower Latino families one home, one story at a time. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
So when I first heard your story, and it's like, yes, she's the NAREP, and we'll go into that and what that entitles. But you have a background in performing arts, and I want you to start a little bit. Tell us a little bit your background with performing arts and dance, and how has that journey shaped you into who you are today?
Absolutely. So my background is that I used to do, growing up, I was always the kid involved in every single musical theater show, like love it, still do. You can find me checking out shows all the time. I love everything that the arts brings. And I think it's such a powerful way to really open up. Being very little, I was a little bit shy, which I think is hard to believe for many nowadays, knowing me. But that was a very real thing. Like there's stories of me in kindergarten singing, and my teacher would tell my parents, she's always singing in a corner. She doesn't even realize that she's doing it. It's like this little thing that just brought me joy all the time. So I quickly got into performing arts, and through the support and love of my family, was very fortunate to explore different avenues. And I eventually ended up, as well as doing live theater, recording and doing my own music in Spanish. So I would travel, yeah, I would travel primarily to South America, mostly like Colombia. I opened up a tour for in Spain for a Colombian artist. Went to Guatemala, a couple other places as well, all performing my own music. And it was a very powerful time. You learn to find your voice, but also to feel empowered in the music that you're creating and what you're putting out there, and learning to deal on your own. I think presenting yourself on a stage, there are no takebacks, right? Everything is live
Yes.
in that aspect. So I think it's helped me tremendously, not only loving doing what I love to do, but also having had the fortune of learning how to stand on my own 2 feet and really be able to express myself and not back down from who I am.
That's beautiful. And it is important, artist to artist, right?
Yeah.
Fellow artists. I think you were fortunate enough that your parents backed you up into this career. Because with artists, it's the stability, right? It's like, are you going to make it big? What else can you do as an artist? that's stable. Um, but nowadays, there's a lot of things that have been shined into the arts because, like you said, it helps shape who you are. Yes, it's a creative outlet. It's something that teaches you how to express yourself creatively, right, in a different language, different art form, whether it's painting, drawing, dancing, creating your own music. But more than anything, it does show you that you have a voice, that you have an impact, that you can move people, that you have the power to, hey, my music, my paintings can talk, right? Can narrate different things. Um, and and what I found most fascinating about your story is like you have this beautiful career as a performer, and you're performing in all these world stages, and now you're in real estate.
Yeah.
Uh, how was that shift, or why was that shift? Was there a particular something that happened that made you switch? Why the
Yeah.
change?
Yeah, I'm happy to go into that a little bit. So I think what happened is something that happened to us all worldwide that we all faced together, which was the pandemic. Most of my work was abroad, as I mentioned, right? There was a lot of traveling involved there, where I was traveling outside of the country for about half of the year. At that point, I had been married for several years. I'm still married. We still like him, but we started discussing very seriously, okay, this is now a totally different stage of our lives where we don't know how long this is going to last. I am a very productive human being, and I don't do well with sitting still. And we started chatting about, well, let's talk about building a family and what that looks like down the road too. I have type 1 diabetes since the age of 7. So
Okay.
yeah, so for people that don't know what that is, because everybody tells me my grandma has diabetes, and I'm like, yes, that's very similar. Type 1 is usually known as juvenile diabetes. It's what
Mm-hmm.
they called it in the past. So my pancreas is not like me too much. So it stopped working when I was 7 due to a bad case of mono. But that requires a little bit more stability and monitoring during
Yes.
pregnancy. So we had a serious talk about it, and then it became, okay, am I going to keep going out once this is done half of the year, maybe abroad, not having the attention that I may need, to start the family, and how long will
Mm-hmm.
that take? Versus maybe there's something that I could also really impact lives and love what I'm doing just as much in a different facet. And that's how we came about to real estate, which I absolutely adore actually. So it's a new stage, but a different kind of stage, but still the same impact of being able to affect somebody's life in a different manner.
Yeah, and as a wife, parent, family, you have to make those decisions for yourself, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, Walking into this real estate and having that performing background, is there anything from that background, especially your Cuban-American heritage, that you bring into this role, this new career as a realtor?
I think we all have our little sazon, right? Just who we
Yes.
are. So that's a big thing, I think, right? And just ultimately because even at Columbia University, when I was studying, I had two majors, and one of them was Hispanic studies. So everything I did was in Spanish. I read Spanish books. I wrote my essays in Spanish. Everything. And my family was always very adamant about us learning how to read, speak, and write our language. Being first generation born here.
Yes.
So. I think being able to provide someone with the facility to speak in their native language, they feel really heard, they feel understood. The amount of the relief that people, when I tell them, when we're talking like this, and then I go, oh, no te preocupes, que yo hablo español. And they're like, right, that sigh of relief where they go, thank God, because I don't know how to say this, and I didn't want to sound a certain way. So it brings a lot of joy to know that I can help in multiple languages, right? That's always important and make people feel comfortable. And I think in the performing days, what you bring to it is once again having that ability to stand up there, go to bat for people, and say and kind of like not back down as quickly. You're you know how to be kind and work and be collaborative to reach the
Yes.
same goal because we're all in it for the same reason, right? I say, like, if I'm representing one side, I go, we both want to get there, right? This client
Hmm.
wants to buy the house, that client wants to sell the house. Let's work together to make it happen rather than be so combative and make it an unpleasurable experience for people.
Yeah, and you're working as a team. Everybody gets what
Yeah.
they want, right? That's the end
Yeah.
goal. But it's
Yeah.
so important as a first generation that your parents were so adamant about you keeping, the Spanish language. I came here when I was 9. My mom was very, en la casa se habla español, and so I learned, and it's given me a lot of different opportunities, and I would I agree. I totally agree with you, especially like if you're trying to buy a home and, a lot of immigrants, not, and people that are older that, their first language was Spanish, they don't feel that comfortable. So I totally understand because especially negotiation, like legal things that you want to be totally understood, they're going to feel more comfortable with somebody
Mhm.
that speaks their own language, not having somebody in the room that's like, oh, I'm going to bring so and so to translate for me because a lot of things get lost in translation. So it is very important to keep um, our Spanish language alive. Now, we talked about Columbia University a little bit, and has that had an impact on credibility, or has it, because Columbia is such a prestigious university, and I know it was a totally different major, but has that given you a like different credibility in this new career that you're doing?
Well, I am a self-proclaimed nerd, so I
Yeah.
enjoy, I'm really, when I tell my clients, like, okay, I'm going to go back and do like data and stuff now for you, so you understand why we're doing what we're doing and the numbers are what they are. So I think it helps them know that I'm not just throwing things out there and kind of, seeing what sticks. I come based with, actual data and actual figures that they can look at and things that is real proof as to why I'm saying to do what we're planning to do. So I think that helps, and I think that comes from the days of just being like a full-blown nerd, which I totally endorse and love. I think we're all nerdy in our own ways.
Yes, we
And
are.
I'm like very, I don't like lead telling clients like, oh, I went to Columbia University or something. That's, that comes, sometimes we talk about schools and stuff, and I've had the question sometimes go, you went to Columbia, how'd you end up in real estate? And I'm like, oh, long story, don't worry. But it's definitely helped me in the sense of I think for people that's important too, it helps in the sense of credibility.
Yeah,
But
it does.
ultimately where what you're doing now, the proof is in the pudding, what you do, the work that you're doing now and how well you do it. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. It is. It's going to help for those people that kind of need reassurance.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, okay, oh wow, But at the end of the day, it's what you do with what you have right now for everyone, and your clients are your best referrals, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
get them a home or sell their house, um, and nerd all the way too. I had a full ride with school, and
Love
you
that.
know, and I love learning. I think it's like, as a nerd to nerd, we're all time learners. We're always researching, we're always learning. We get bored of things, so we have to look for something else to do. So I totally
Hmm.
understand that you totally went a different route because that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
We want to continue to learn. Now you're now the 2025 president of NAHREP of North Jersey. For those of you that don't know what NAHREP is, you can share with
Yeah.
us a little bit? And also, what does this leadership role mean to you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. So NAHREP is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. It's not just for realtors, it is for anybody involved in the transaction, anybody looking to further educate themselves on the process of home buying and home selling and all the changes happening right in our world, because if there's one thing that is for sure is that change will happen in any industry. So we want to make sure that we're really educating the professional, educating how to best serve the community, and trickling down that effect in order to have really professional, well educated, up to date people on the industry go out and represent our community. So basically, NAHREP, for those that haven't heard about it, is the largest minority trade organization in the nation, which is like a huge deal, right? You have over like 60,000 members
Mhm,
nationwide. North New Jersey is our oldest chapter in the state, as well as the largest. So
mhm,
it is a complete honor to be representing the chapter this year, and having achieved some major milestones. We've had the largest gala that we've ever had this year with government representatives. We had 460 guests and we had to cut it off. So, I mean, like, we are throwing events where they are educational, they are networking, they are helping your business in the community through what we learn. Our business rally that we did also had hundreds of people and included speakers such as um, Prada Jones, who's a fantastic investor and just educator of how to make money work for you, right? We had
mhm.
Genesis and Niall from Sirhan's Owning Manhattan come and
Yeah,
speak.
they're
So
great.
they were fantastic and talk about the luxury market and other things. We had Edwin Acevedo, who is the president elect for our national board at NAREP, come talk about the mission, about helping Hispanic homeownership and creating generational wealth through homeownership. And I think it's an amazing organization to really educate and expand horizons. We also have, besides our local chapters, which there are hundreds throughout the
Mhm,
country, we also have national events. So I think it's great way of learning. The one that we do in DC in March, that one we
mhm.
go and talk to actual representatives from each of our states. So, like, we met with people that we have elected from the state of New Jersey, talking about housing issues and policies and how to best help those moving along. So it's not just, hey, we're doing these events and going out. We're really impacting change and getting our voices heard.
Yes. Yeah, I can. You're going to all these different events and really impacting our community, our Latino community, to in wealth, right? In owning real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's in your role. You talked about being Latina and that your mom really, you have the Spanish language, and I'm sure this comes in conversation, but is how has you keeping the language and helping your community and now your role as president, um, what is it looking forward to continue in this role that you want to continue to do for the community?
Absolutely. So we just want to keep making an impact, right? I think that's what this role is all about. Each year we look to make it better and keep growing as an organization. Next year, when I pass the torch, I will stay on as past president. And I tell them all the time, like, I just want to see you guys keep on flourishing, right? I want to see
Mhm.
that we keep not only the caliber of the education that we're providing, but keep it going and rising, right? That's it. Every year get better. And I think
Every
through
year get
that,
better. Yes.
yeah, through that, you gotta like champion for each other, right? It's not just the year that I'm president, it's the year and the year after, and it's setting up for success through succession and knowing, hey, we're here to help this community and keep it going and how to best do that.
Yes, keep it going. And that's
Hmm.
very important, right? This year, and then you're going to help that next president come in. You talked about building wealth, breaking barriers. and empowering Latino families. Is there a specific story that comes to mind where you've made impact to a family or a community that you can recall?
Absolutely. So I have a few, but I'll choose one that I ended up working with this wonderful family. They just had been teetering on the idea of purchasing a home. When I first connected with them, they were actually kind of confused, right? Like, what is your role? What's the lender's role? I don't understand. We sat down, we talked about it. I still saw some hesitation. I told the lender, I said, let's all just meet. Let's break it down. You know what I mean? So that they feel comfortable. They understand what's going on in the process of it. We were checking out homes and they were an FHA client, which means that they had, in their case, they had a lower down payment. Sometimes, people are going, oh, only 5% down or 3.5, but we were able to beat out 13 other offers on the only offer that we put in for them. And I think that is impactful to know that there are ways of doing, knowing how to get to that point, knowing how to provide your client with that change in their life where they went from tenants for 20 plus years to now being homeowners, that they have
Mhm.
not only themselves, but their kids now are there. They bought it together as a multi-generational property, and they're each growing in their assets and creating that wealth that is what we're talking about, right? Helping the next generation continue on and grow and get better money management. Most of the time people don't even know what to do. So it's really there to be a guide. I have one right now where we were able to secure a property, and their house burned down and they were scared they weren't going to get into a house. The time that their kids had to go to school and they were worried about all of that. And it's no, let's get out there, let's make it happen, because that's so much more impactful than any other thing. It's the real life stories of these people and how their
Mhm.
lives change by having that and saying, wow, I have this home now that I can call mine, that I can use to do other things. I know, like, if you saw me drinking before, this is actually one of my clients sent me this along with like a bunch of personalized stuff. She put sold by Giselle, and she made me like all of these things that she sent out, and I was like, "What are
She
you
made
doing?
you
Giving me?"
swag.
Yeah, I was like, you're giving me gifts. I gave you a gift.
Of
And she goes,
course.
and she made me feel like $1 million because she goes, no, I couldn't have done it without you. And I
Yeah,
wanted to show my appreciation. And that is better than anything.
that was her way of thanking you, right? The
Yeah.
best way she knew how. And
Yeah.
grateful for such a big transaction and a big milestone for families. Um, I, I hearing your stories and learning, you got your first home and you were able to help a family. I think all those stories are what propel you to keep going, right? And to keep going at it, to get your clients a home. We are getting to the end of our 30 minutes,
Yeah.
but I want to, we talked about barriers, breakthroughs, and I have two last questions for you. What barriers have you personally had to break through, and what advice would you give other Latina entrepreneurs?
Yeah. I think sometimes it's just at the beginning, not knowing what you don't know and admitting to yourself, let's learn together, and just being
Mhm.
really proactive. I think in the real estate world, there's no better way to learn than experience. And right now, I'm very fortunate that I get to be a mentor to other people entering. And that to me is such a rewarding part because, yes, you get.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
getting
there
a
you
phone
go.
call. I
Oh,
said,
that's okay.
yeah, now I see, seeing those people that you're mentoring close their first transaction, help their first family, answer those questions that maybe you didn't have, right? That mentor to help you at like 11 p.m. That really shows, wow. this you can keep the impact going in so many ways and help train the next slew of people that are out there helping these families, because
Hmm.
there's enough for everyone. It's not just one person, right? Everybody's got their tribe.
Yeah. And that's truly building a legacy, right? Because you're teaching others, you're leaving it, you're instilling in them, right? And you're helping them come forward, right?
Hmm.
You help one come up. Um, what's your for Giselle, this next 5 years, where do you see yourself? How would you like to continue to make an impact?
Um, I think I would like to see myself continue in different, nonprofit giving back organizations, potentially on some of those boards. I do see myself, incorporating that into my business more and more. And I think, really just in the next 5 years in business, I love where I'm at. I see myself going more and more into leadership because I tell my husband, I go, this year has been an investment in leadership, the same way that is the best way to learn, right? Just trial by fire and working with people. So it's been, I really enjoy that aspect of it and helping
Mhm.
others. So I do see myself going more that route and, helping as many families as possible. Um, I love what I do and I'm fortunate, right? Because if you get to do what you love every day, it's not so bad.
Yes, it's you enjoy the journey, right?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
want to have fun with what you do. It's like, yeah, I love what I do, and hey, I get paid for it, so that's a great thing.
And no,
Before,
and no 2 days are the same. That is for
oh,
sure.
I'm sure. And that's what keeps it fun. Before I ask the last question to close, I want to thank everybody that has joined us. So many people have joined here today. If anybody has any other questions or comments for Giselle, please put them in the chat. Um, I would love to share with her. So do put them on the comment on the chat if you want to comment or if you have a question for her. And as you're doing that, I would like to ask you one last question to close. What would you say to somebody who's starting or who's just thinking about going to real estate? What would your advice be to them?
Be prepared. Make sure that you understand to have a little bit of savings to get you through. This is not selling sunset. We're not going out and selling like a $12 million home the first day of our real estate career. So educate yourself and find a really good home base. And what I mean by that is a good team or brokerage that you feel is really going to elevate you and teach you how to get to be that agent that you want to be.
That is beautiful. It takes time, right? Um, you don't start off
Yes.
right, build and trust the process. But
Yes.
um, we have mortgages with Sebastian. Giselle's a superstar.
Uh,
You're outstanding at what you do. Yes, she is.
Thank you, Sebastian. He's awesome too. He's also located in New Jersey, great lender. He's fantastic.
So, how can we, if anybody's interested into contacting you, I will also tag your all your different platforms. Is
Absolutely.
there a specific way that you would want them to contact you?
I am very stalkable. You can, my phone number is everywhere, so just shoot me over a text or call me. Leave a message is all I ask. If I don't answer, it's probably just because I'm on a phone call with another client. But yeah, you can call, text, email. I'm available. Whatever way is easiest for you to communicate works for me because that's how we're going to work together.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So like I said, I will tag all her contact information. Again, thank you, Giselle, for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for making an impact in our community. Thank you for connecting with me and sharing with us your story and being so vulnerable. Because I believe that when we share our stories, we inspire others to go after their dreams. So I hope we've done this for you tonight. I will see you guys again in 2 weeks, and I will be having Lilia Rios, owner of La Providencia, and she will be coming on tonight to talk in 2 weeks to talk about her journey, and it's a good one. So thank you again, Giselle, for joining me,
Thank
and thank you
you.
everyone that joined us tonight.
Thank you. Have a good night.